like. This is the burning issue on the happy world of 5FM radio, bringing you hot, smoldering topics on a weekly basis. Your participation is important.
A very good morning and welcome to yet another edition of The Burning Issue. We are grateful that you found time to tune in to 89.9 here in Lusaka, and this is 5FM, and of course the surrounding areas as well. Now, don't forget that we are also live on our partner radio stations, and we are live on Isunga FM radio in Kelvin province on 88.1. Very grateful that you decided to be a partner and, of course, carrying this program live on your platform. And also live on Spice FM, that is on 91.1 in Kabwe, covering Central Province. And we are grateful for that. So is ZFM on 100.3 in Kapiri, equally covering Central Province. And Tuta FM in Mansa, covering Wapula Province on 90.7 FM. And live on the Copper Belt on Platinum Radio, that is on 99.7. Katete FM is live as well, and that is on 103.3, covering literally the entire Eastern Province. We are grateful to Katete FM as well. We are also live on our Facebook page and also on our YouTube channel, 5FM Radio Zambia. Those are our accounts, and please like and share and leave us a comment, because we would like to hear from you as well later on. And remember that later in the course of the program, I'll give you, our listener, an opportunity to call in and interact with our guest on the number that will be given to you. And I'm your host, Zakaria Banda. Now, our guest this morning is Mr. Kelvin Bwalya Fube. He is president of the Zambia Must Prosper party. And we haven't hosted him in the longest time on this program, but we are grateful because we feel it's very timely to have him in the studio. And welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and good morning, listeners, and everywhere you're listening us from. I'm very happy to be here. My band.
Yeah.
My name is Kelvin Fube Bwalya.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that correction. I keep bringing Bwalya first.
I know.
And so I said it's we're hosting you pretty much timely, because we have a lot of issues to discuss. One, you are a political party leader, obviously vying for presidency next year. Other than that, you are a learned counsel, and the fact that you are a lawyer by profession, we have a lot to discuss, because there is also an issue of the amendment of the Constitution,
right,
which you may definitely. I mean, I know that even when time came for the Bill 10, you were very strong on it, and we feel that it is timely in that way. But other than that, we would like to also hear from you, based on the recently held elections in Tanzania,
right,
and the happenings in there. Would like to also just get your views on it. But before that, let's get to find out where we are in as far as Zambia Must Prosper party is concerned.
Right.
In terms of are you ready for 2026? Where are we? We want to know how ready your party is for 2026, mobilization wise and structure wise. Where are we? Are we so ready?
Zambia Must Prosper is very ready.
Right.
And we are going for our convention this month. This November. We should have had the convention. Unfortunately, we've had to postpone it because one of our provincial chairmen, the Copper Belt provincial chairman, lost his wife. So we are Zambians, we are Africans. We had to adjourn and postpone the event. But definitely we're having the convention. This is to satisfy Article 60 of the Zambian Constitution, where we must obviously elect from the convention the leadership that we hope to move with. going into the elections next year. In terms of structures, our structures are busy on the ground. We want to inform our people that it is at the convention that we shall unveil our regalia, our party regalia.
Okay.
And as you know, we unveiled our manifesto already. So the manifesto is going round. It is part of these engagements that I intend to be selling the manifesto for the party. And we also want to tell our structures. We are in the Tonse Alliance, and therefore we must preach unity within Tonse and work together with our brothers in Tonse. Obviously bearing in mind that you should always look over your shoulder, because sometimes we might have some moles within Tonse, and we should be careful.
Interesting. And let's get your views on the just ended elections in Tanzania before we really get into the nitty-gritties of what's happening in our country. Right. Your thoughts on the just ended elections? Free and fair, you feel?
Unfortunately, not as I expected. I think after the death of John Pombe Magufuli, the Tanzanian former president, there was a lot of hype about the current president of Tanzania being female and coming from the small island of Zanzibar and having come up the ranks within Chama cha Mapinduzi. A lot was expected. And also being a woman, it was expected she'll be motherly towards the nation of Tanzania. I didn't want to comment on the Tanzanian situation immediately.
Okay.
But when news began to filter in and pictures began to filter in as to the massacre of innocent youths, young people, that can't go without a comment. And it's a bit more disappointing that the president of this country decided not only to attend but to give a speech at that inaugural ceremony. Attending is one thing. Speaking at the event and glossing over the fact that people have been killed, innocent people, youth, some of them, pictures I saw, children, is rather unfortunate. I listened to the speech. I was heartbroken, terribly so, because I did not expect that even if you're going to compare countries, you would compare Zambia to the level that we have seen Tanzania deteriorate to. That was rather disappointing. Having said that, I think SADC has issued a statement. They have not declared the elections free and fair. I think the delegation led by the Malawan Council has given us an indication of what they observed and what they saw. What is rather surprising for me is the silence of the so-called big democracies.
Such as?
America being quiet, the UK being quiet, the EU being quiet. That tells me a lot. It means they're either condoning what has gone on, or they are basically turning a blind eye to it because they've got vested interest in Tanzania. Now, wherever people are killed and you call it democracy, I don't agree. I think democracy is about the freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of assembly, and the right to protest, but more importantly, the right to choose a leader of your choice. When you leave people without a choice, that is not democracy. And people who want to tell us that they are the founding fathers of democracy, I expected better. With them keeping quiet, I'm suspicious. Why are they quiet? Why are they not condemning what they have seen? They have got enough satellite picture images and they know what's going on. You don't turn your own police against your own people. Live bullets. Why not use canisters, tear gas, rubber bullets. These were live bullets hitting into people. Even if they were armed with stones, that's not enough. I'm a lawyer. Proportional response is important. If someone enters my house with a knife and I go and get an AK-47, is that proportional response, even if he's in my house? No. There's got to be a way to respond. Now, these are unarmed civilians, your people, and you unleash your police on them, armed to the teeth. This has disappointed me. I never thought, judging from history, that Julius Nyerere would be happy in his grave to see that his nation is at the stage it has reached now. Tanzania has had a lot of presidents, like Zambia, and we have seen change of power many times. Although Chama cha Mapinduzi has been winning elections, there has always been opposition. Now, no. When you say you're going to be a sole candidate, it reminds me of the one-party participatory democracy of Hakainde. That is unfortunate. You don't imprison your foremost opponents, and you want us to sanction, and you want us to come and say congratulations. That, no.
So, would you have been okay if our head of state just attended the inauguration or swearing in and not speak?
I would have been much happier if he didn't go.
You seem to
What
be...
made it worse was that he actually spoke. Not only go, but he spoke. That
What would you rather he should have done, delegate?
not go, send a message. I'm not happy with what has gone on. The subtle message that he's sending is, if you don't see what I'm doing here, I'm prepared to do the same here. That's the message. That, to me, is what I'm getting as a politician. That if you go on the streets in Zambia, I'm prepared to do what she has done, and I'm prepared to invite her here to come and congratulate me. That's not correct. Birds of a feather flock together.
Where do you place bilateral relations?
This is not about...
And you know that Zambia and Tanzania share a lot than any other country would think of among the neighboring countries.
I would want to agree with you. But even with the Tazama pipeline, even with the Tazara rail line, even with the Hell Run or the Great North Road having assisted us during the colonial times, bringing our fuel, it still does today. What has happened cannot be glossed over. Lives have been lost. Let's concentrate on that. Innocent lives have been lost. Those could be Zambians. They could be Zambians.
But you're dealing with a government that disputes the numbers that have been mentioned as to those who have died.
Have you ever seen a government or an occupational force, such as Israel occupying Palestine or Gaza, admitting as to the numbers? Have you ever seen anybody telling you the actual numbers in Ukraine as to what's been killed because of the war? You and I know that they always downplay these things, but people are dying every day. If you listen to Donald Trump, he'll tell you thousands per week. He's careless in his speech, but I'd rather believe him on this, because people are dying. And these are innocent people. All they did is exercise their democratic right to protest. That's all they did. Freedom of speech. Protest is part of it. Assembly is part of it. Movement is part of it. If you deny people all these freedoms, where's the democracy? Where are we standing as Africa? What examples are we giving? We are no different from the apartheid regime that was butchering South Africans those years, long time ago. If this is the only reason why we got power from the colonialists, is to come and butcher our own people, then we're not being democratic. We are practicing small-time tin pot dictatorship, pretending to be Democrats. That's not correct. No. No. I didn't want to speak on Tanzania, but the pictures I've seen in the last 24, 48 hours have disturbed me. And I must speak. Otherwise, it will be unjust.
It's interesting how regional elections have panned out the last few months. And I think that we're coming from the Malawi elections, where the previous the previous president only ruled for a term and lost it, and Zambians started, trying to paint a picture that we will take a leaf, and what is happening in Malawi could definitely happen here, and Tanzanians were equally ready to think that the current president was going to just have a term, and now the narrative seems to be changing. The narrative now is that, oh wait, we have already started seeing oppositions being jailed in Zambia. Are we headed in the Tanzanian direction? And people seem to be speaking these things in a rational way. And it's confusing, really. As a politician, what really are you picking out of the fact that citizens seem to be analyzing things like this?
The Malawian situation, in my view, is rather different from the Tanzanian situation. Yeah. It is true that President Chakwera wanted to cling to power. It is true that he was also accused of a lot of things. For instance, there were speculations as to whether or not he was involved in the death of his vice president. We are not sure. There might be an inquiry now. We are not sure. But the Malawans were reacting to the economy and how badly the economy was run by Chakwera, and how most of his ministers became rich overnight. So Malawans decided to say, we cannot have this. And because of other factors, it was easy to fight. If you followed the Malawian elections, there were 18 presidential candidates in Malawi. At least he allowed opposition. He was confident enough to say he could win. Obviously, he lost when the old man, Peter Mutharika, came back at 85 years old to beat him at his own game. So Malawi is slightly different from Tanzania.
Right.
Tanzania has got one party which has been in power since it took over power in 1961. That is Chama cha Mapinduzi. And every leader who has ruled Tanzania has come from the same political party. What I didn't like was that you, as a government, were now trying to silence opposition. Let them speak, man. The beauty about democracy is that people must have a choice. Once you kill that choice, and people try to tell you this is not democratic, and you shoot them, that is the difference. So Malawi and Tanzania, different. Now, if we extrapolate as lessons and bring that to Zambia, Zambia has been able to change governments. You asked whether or not that wind of change is being felt in Zambia. Yes, it is being felt. The Upnd has lost direction. The Upnd has not been faithful to the Zambians. The Upnd has been lying to the Zambians. The Upnd has failed to live up to its promises that they made to the Zambians. The Upnd has messed up on load shedding, which they said they are going to cure in 7 months to a year. The Upnd has not reduced the price of minimum, which they promised. The Upnd has not reduced the dollar kwacha rate to that level which someone told us by 10 hours, by 14 hours, the rate of dollar will be this and that. The UPND has had no economic policy to speak about. In fact, if you ask me, they've never really had a manifesto. They've had the 10-point plan which we can throw out the window, and it doesn't make sense at all. Our mining is in shambles. Investors are on tax holidays. We in Zambia today don't know where our revenue is coming from apart from selling electricity to our neighbors, hence the load shedding. We have just been told they've increased load shedding to 20 hours, back to what they said they wouldn't make it. They were telling us because of the good rainfall by June, July, August, September, they kept shifting. Load shedding was going to go. Look at the price of fuel. It is a question of changing prices every other month, depending on who wakes up on the correct side or the left side. For me, this is not a government that knows what it's doing. The UPND has been running on supplementary budgets almost every year. So the budget doesn't make sense anymore. Bwalya, the Minister of Finance, has failed this country. I was reading a sidebar as a headline this morning where the Minister of Finance, Musokotwane, is trying to implore the Zambians that the only way they want the UPND to come back is because they have to come and finish the roads. That if we don't elect them, the roads won't be finished. What nonsense. This is government. Government must finish its projects. The PF carried out its road networks. The MMD carried out its road networks. Some of the things were finished by the next government. These are lies which they've been trying to propel into the Zambian minds. We are tired of the lies. So as far as I'm concerned, that wind of change blowing from Malawi, yes, it has already reached Zambia. And the Zambians are fed up of the UPND. The Zambians are willing to change government next year. And the UPND must begin to pack. Come next year, going. Kuyabebele.
Now, against Kuyabebele, there's also a disorganized opposition, so people have said. And the UPND government themselves are questioning Kuyabebele where and Kuya to who. Okay, so there's a big question mark as in to who will be the opposition forceful enough to see to it that the UPND leaves government?
A very good question, and I hope some of the listeners out there will take out their papers and pens, because what I'm going to say will shock you. I was running elections when I was in PF. Please understand me. In 2016, the elections of 2016, ECL, our late president, got 1.9 million votes. Hakainde Hichilema got 1.8 million votes. He won those elections by 100,000 votes. A very slender margin. This is 2016. How many people did not vote in 2016? According to our statistics, 2.2 million registered voters did not vote in 2016, which means there were 2.2 million Zambians, more than the PF number, more than the UPND number, who decided, no, I'm not exercising my vote because I don't like either of the candidates. Please follow me. Come 2021, PF maintained its 1.9 million votes. Hakainde Hichilema improved his votes to 2.8 million. Remember, in 2016 he had 1.8 million. Where did the extra 1 million votes come from? They didn't drop from heaven. They came from the partyless 2.2 who decided not to vote in 2016. Those were the ones who were disgruntled with the way the PF ran the government. And they said, we don't want cadarism. we don't want hooliganism. We are fed up with the corruption. We are fed up with, and they counted and they said, if this is the way PF wants to run, we are changing. Those who are sitting on the fence decided, the 1 million decided to give their votes to Hakainde. So Hakainde maintained his 1.8, but 1 million came from those partyless people, Zambians, registered voters, but Zambians. They gave him the vote. So he got 2.8 in 2021. PF remained at 1.9. What am I saying? No party today going into 2026 can win an election alone without the partyless Zambians who are watching, who are fed up of the UPND and who are saying we don't want the UPND. But they are saying we want something new. We may not want to return to PF, but something new. If you've listened to the ECZ, the chairperson is saying they're trying to capture a further 3.5 million new voters. Add that to the 2.9 million voters who are existing at 2021. We are likely to have 6 to 7 million Zambians registered as voters. Let's give the UPND their usual 1.8. Let's give the PF their usual 1.9. You still got a buffer of close to 5 million Zambians who are frustrated, who are hungry, who don't know whether or not the PF may come back, who don't know whether they are happy with the UPND, but they are saying, we don't want this to continue. Therefore, those partyless will need a new message. They will need a new face. They will need new ideas. And this is where Zambia must prosper and Tonse come in. So, we are ready to win the next elections. We know what the statistics are telling us. Demography is very clear. UPND cannot tell us they can have more than 1.82 million voters. No, they don't. In fact, in 2016, 2021, when UPND was going to elections, their registers showed close to 465 membership. Give them 500,000 if you want, 500,000. That's all they had. The rest came from the partyless Zambians who just felt it's too much of PF, it's too much of the cadarism, it's too much of the corruption. That's the feeling which is coming back today. That's the analysis I want you to analyze 2026 going into 2026. Because there will be more Zambians who don't belong to a political party but who don't want the UPND in office. Because of what they are going through. The economy is biting. And the Zambians are saying, we've had enough. And we don't want this government. So, when you say there is no opposition or the opposition is disorganized, I beg to differ. I am suggesting very strongly that the opposition is very organized. Do we have problems within the opposition? Yes, we do. Do we have a difference of opinion? Yes, we do. Do we have misunderstandings? Yes. Are those misunderstandings so big that they are insurmountable? No, they are not. We are going to resolve these things before the end of the year. And we are going to make sure we have leadership that is going to clean out the UPND. The UPND is trying to propagate confusion. So they are investing in the confusion of Chavinga and some people who we are now discovering may be part of Tonse. We may have to get rid of some of our friends. Because as far as we are concerned, we don't want mores. We want people who are principled, who are prepared to fight for the Zambians, who are prepared to say, no, enough is enough, the Zambians have had enough. So we have enough to beat the UPND. Enough. The party called PF has been decimated because of the confusion that the ruling party has put in there. You don't give a political party with as many as 80 plus or 50 plus members of parliament to do a chap called Chabinga, who has no control over the structures. And you expect the Zambians to believe that's the president. Yes, legally, at the registrar, you have given him, at the registrar of societies, you have given him control of the party. But Chabinga doesn't control PF. Chabinga cannot even address any PF rally anywhere in the country. The members will stone him. That is why this government has given him police protection. Chabinga enda na bakapokola ewa mulonda for his own safety because they realize he's a sellout. So, the opposition today, the biggest opposition are the Zambian people, the Zambian voters. That is the opposition to the UPND. All they are looking for now is leadership. All they are looking for now is which party is that leader going to stand on. All they are looking for now is what message are you bringing? What is your manifesto? Let's move on. And I must add here that we are already trying to marry our manifestos within Tonse. And we are saying we'll come up with one message to give the Zambians.
Do you have the time to do so?
Yes, there's plenty of time. There's plenty of time. We've made presidents in 90 days. We know what to do.
Speaking of which, that was going to be my second question, because from what I know is that Kelvin for Bwalya is synonymous to elections.
Yes. Winning elections.
Just give us a background of why you asked.
Winning elections. We don't lose.
Tell us how, and tell us which elections you've had significant influence on.
Go and ask the PF.
I may know, but there could be a Gen Z out there who is even just registering and voting for the first time next year and wonders, who is this speaking to us? What background do they have?
I see. Thank you for the question. Running up to between 2008 and 2011 elections, when Michael Chilufya-Sata was running the Patriotic Front, it was very clear that Sata was being, what's the word? I don't want to use the wrong word. He was being dribbled by the MMD. So some of us took it upon ourselves and we decided to help him by forming an organization which was Anti-Rigging Zambia Limited.
Right.
And the sole purpose of this organization was to protect the vote against rigging, which is what we did. Realizing that this organization meant well, Vasata came to my office and said, I want you to run my presidential campaign at that time. And that's what I did. And there comes the experience. At the time I thought and felt, how can I do this? I've never done this before. But I'm a prayerful warrior. So I decided on my knees, God, give me the wisdom. And he did. Going into 2011, we made sure that Rasata won those elections. We locked up every corner that RB and MMD wanted to use. RB had so much money, he had so much regalia. Regalia was on trees, it was on signposts.
And so much vehicles as well.
He had everything. Wasata did not have enough money. He may not have had enough regalia. But we built a team around us. We built musicians around us. And we decided this man must have it. We pushed him. And we had a very strong character in the late Michael Chilufya-Sata. May his soul rest in peace. But victory came. 2011 running up to 2014, unfortunately, Vasata dies. At the time, the Constitution said within 90 days, we must have a new president. There was no running mate at the time.
Through a by-election?
Yes, a by-election, a presidential by-election. A lot of people, just like today, a lot of people popped up and said they wanted to be president. There was this quiet guy from the East, now Kwitu, like you. His name was Edgar Chagwa. He was the acting president at the time of Asada's death. He was Secretary General of the party. He may not have expressed a lot of wisdom at the time, but I was one of the first 4 people he called to his home at Lewanika to say, the old man has died in London. We need to announce this to the nation by dawn. But we also need to have a presidential candidate to fight in the next by-elections, presidential by-election. I asked him a question, do you want to run? And he says, if you people think and feel I can make it, yes. That is where our friendship began, politically. He was a lawyer just like me, senior lawyer to me, but I saw in him a sense of humility that he needed a team. And the fact that I was one of the first few people he called, I realized he was humble enough to say, I need help. So we helped him. There was a lot of shenanigans going on during that time. We had the guy Scott, who was vice president at that time, pulling left, right, and center. We had other people within PF trying to fight Chagwa's candidature. But going to the convention in 2014, we managed to have Edgar Chagwa as candidate, and we pushed him.
And I'm told you personally had a very influential role to make. And I think you get these allegations if they asked you allegations that you didn't sleep that night.
Many nights we didn't sleep. But there were people like the late Willie Nsanda. There were people like my older brother, Basami Omukupa. There were people like Mama Inonge Wina, who was chairperson of the party at the time. We worked as a team. But yes, I was there in the thick of things, trying to make sure that this person should be president. And we made sure that on the 15th, is it 20th of January 2015, when elections were held, Chagwa emerged as victor and he became our president. So for me, I repeat, I'm a team player. When conditions are right, right candidate, right message, yes. 2016, we repeated the fate, and we did the same. So we know that we can make presidents within 90 days. It's been known to happen when I was Zulu. Now we are talking 8-10 months down the line. It's enough time to get rid of this UPND government.
Let's not skip the 2021.
I'm not skipping the 2021, but I'm saying it's been known to happen that we can make a president in 90 days. Now, we are talking of coming to 2021.
Yeah. You changed camp?
I did not exactly change camp. That's a misnomer that people tend to have, and I think I should tell the story from my perspective.
Right.
Around 2019, running up to 2020, I told the president that we had made, Edgar Chagwa, you can't run. When the Central Committee of PF were pushing him to run again, and I told him legally, as a lawyer, I can't support this. I was very honest.
In terms of eligibility?
Eligibility. I told him, the president, you're not eligible. No, but Central Committee, they had some cronies go to court.
Yeah.
The Constitutional Court ruled this and that. I still wasn't convinced. And I still told him, even with the way the court has ruled, Speaking for myself as a lawyer, I don't agree. Why didn't I agree? Other than the fact that there could be other clauses within the Constitution, but one, the Constitution is very clear. Once you're twice elected, twice sworn in as a president, is a problem. But even mathematically, and Wabanda listeners, please, again, if you've got your papers and your pens, take your pens and papers. Basata died in 2014. Walungu had his presidency, initial presidency, and his second term. So he had ruled Zambia for 7 years, following Basata's death. Now, the Constitution says a president is entitled to a 5-year term, and he can seek re-election, a maximum of 10 years. They say figures don't lie.
Right.
If Vachagwa had ruled us for 7 years, leading up to 2021,
right,
if we gave him another 5 years, 7 plus 5, that is 12. Again, even mathematically, for me, it didn't make sense. I said, which constitution, Bwana? Yes, you can play, you can do mingalato, you can nunya people, but this figure of 12 will hit you in the face. 12 is more than 10 years. So how are you going to justify this to the Zambians? I said no. Speaking for myself as a lawyer, I said respectfully, our president, I cannot support this bid. Because of that, some people within the PF Central Committee decided this guy talks too much, ale to bloka, ale to ikala pansansa. Therefore, let us expel him. So they mooted some funny cases against me. I knew where it was coming from, but I was expelled. I didn't leave PF. The PF expelled me because I advised the president, Lungu, not to stand. Legally, mathematically, I said it can't work. This formula can't fit. When you buy a glove, hand and glove go together, so the size must fit. You remember the O.J. Simpson trial?
Yeah.
Yes. One of the greatest tricks that Johnny Cochran, the lawyer for O.J. played in front of the jury is that my client is a big guy. They say that the guy who killed dropped this glove. I am putting it to you that if this glove doesn't fit, you've got to acquit. Because it's not him. He made O.J. stand in court and he gave him the glove, which the police produced as an exhibit. And O.J. Simpson's hand couldn't fit the glove. Cochran turned to the jury and said, if it doesn't fit, you have to acquit. I told President Lungu the same thing. If the numbers don't add up, if they exceed 10 years, to me it's not adding up. You can't stand. That is why I was expelled from PF. After the expulsion, I was a free agent politically.
Right.
Therefore, I started listening to people who were coming to me to say, can we work together? Can you help us here? Now, because of the manner in which the PF had treated me, I also said, aha, here's a chance. I said to them, because of what you have done, mukashala muli mwamonini. That I made a promise. And when I make a promise, I usually keep it. So when Hakainde Hichilema'S sent emissaries to come and talk to me to help him, I said, okay, Mwana, I'll help you. After all, I was running the elections in PF. I know what their weaknesses are. I know what to do. It wasn't betrayal. They had stabbed me in the back.
You don't seem to have been appreciated in all the help that you've rendered, no? Did that matter?
For me, it's the principle. It's not about appreciation. There have been more people who have eaten out of my sweat than I dare say.
Because there are rumors that you actually, the reason you left the alliance with the UPND is because the man you helped did not fulfill what he's supposed to.
No. Let's not accuse him.
So tell us then.
He sends his emissaries. Yes, I agree to help him.
Yeah.
To help him.
Okay.
Yes. The problem is Hakainde's mode of operation, his modus operandi, is that he wants control. And he wanted to control me. So he said...
At what point?
At every point.
When he asked you or after he won an election?
After especially. Because now he was saying, no mana, for us to work together, I need you to collapse. Zambia must prosper, your political party, into UPND. I said no. Jobs were offered. I said no. I came to help you. I'm leaving.
How would you have done that on Zambia Must Prosper when he hasn't done that on the rest?
He did. You haven't heard of these Nashalaneka parties like ADD from Womirupe. They have collapsed their parties into UPND. You will never hear of ADD anymore. The infrastructure minister, the party doesn't exist anymore. You go and ask my brother, Felix Mutati, where is his political party today? He's hanging on to UPND now. So he can't go anywhere and say he has got a political party. No. Where's Mutolo, the Minister of Agriculture? They've all joined UPND. That's what HH wanted. So you understand where I'm going. So me, I said, no. I didn't come here to join UPND. I came here to help you. I have helped you. And that's the end of the story. Goodbye. And I left. You can keep your jobs. No, Mwana, what is it? Maybe you want to go outside the country. I said, I don't want. Maybe you want. I said, I don't want. You wanted to be president. There's the presidency. Work. Me, I don't want to be an impediment. I am leaving. Anyone who's going to say anything about me having left, having been not given a job, is a liar. I was very gracious. I called my young brother, the principal state principal private secretary at State House. I said, I want to see my friend. No, but President, please, you feel free. And I went and I told him to his face. Now that he had not even finished making his cabinet by that time. And he was saying, between and among us here, what do you want? I said, I don't want. I came to tell you to your face so that you don't hear it from the street. I am leaving. Now, what more does a man do other than face his friend and say, Mwana, I've come to say goodbye. I've done my job. That to me is principle. And that's all I did.
So if you've made presidents,
yes,
in the history that you've just shared with us and the listeners, are you eager to make Tonse great and a president from Tonse?
I want to stand as president. I am running a political party now.
Right.
The party is Zambia Must Prosper. We have a clear manifesto. And we know what to do. We know how to win. So I want to win. If my colleagues in Tonse feel I am not the right candidate and they want to give us a president, if that person can beat Hakainde Hichilema, if that person can win us elections, we are prepared to play ball. But if I am not convinced, no.
What would it have to take?
I know how to win. I also know how to campaign. So the message must be right, but the character of the president must also be right. If the presidential candidate just wants to go into office to go and make money, like we are seeing today, if it's about deals like we are seeing today, if it's about being corrupt and the Zambians are still going to remain poor and hungry, no employment being created, the mining laws don't change, our agricultural policies don't change, then no. I am very serious about that. Let us improve the lives of the Zambians.
What is the plan around Tonse in terms of coming up with a presidential candidate? What does the Tonse constitution say?
Well, I don't want to discuss the Tonse constitution.
Well, maybe
one of the resolutions. I'll cut you there, Upnd.
Yeah.
One of the resolutions that was passed at the last Tonse Council of Leaders meeting is that we need a new set of rules of engagement.
Okay.
Because the initial Tonse constitution was seen to be a problem. And the reason for it is that that particular constitution was designed around the candidature of Edgar Chagwa, believing Alewele Lapo. That's not the situation now. Circumstances have changed. So we have to change. The rules of engagement must change. Even the document that's binding us together now must therefore change. ECO is no more with us. Therefore, he was named as the candidate in the constitution. He's no longer there. So we don't have a candidate. There was a party named...
So we had constitution that names an individual.
Yeah, just like the one we had at the time the colonial masters gave us independence in 1964. They named Kenneth David Kaunda as the first president of the Republic of Zambia. A weird constitution indeed. But it's the framers of the constitution at the time. My young brother, Dr. Zumani Zimba, and some of the people who were around ECO at the time, they decided this is the way they were going to proceed, believing that ECO was coming back. But 10th December last year, what happened? The Constitutional Court said no. ECO cannot stand. So it threw everything out the window. That was a problem. But at least, I must confess, and credit to our late president, he was able to accept. He called me, we had meetings, not one, many, and he said, you are right. I should have listened to you when you advised me. But some of my friends did not listen. But now we have this issue. We have to work together again. So Lungu, before his death, had accepted the decision of the Constitutional Court that he was not going to be a candidate. And he needed to find a candidate for Tonse, which means the Constitution of Tonse, the way it was framed, and some other issues surrounding some rules of engagement which the PF wanted put in that constitution became an issue. So we are now at the crossroads where State Council Chifumu Banda, the current president of FDD, is leading an ad hoc committee to come up with a new MOU, not a constitution,
right.
MOU, as to how we are going to move forward as Tonse. And that is going to be announced very soon.
Did you have an idea what the fact that there was that Concord ruling
Yes.
on ineligibility of ECL, quickly on the same day he crafted the plan B?
We always had a plan B.
Did you know of it?
Yes.
Would you like to share?
No. No.
Is the plan B in effect now?
Part of it. We are moving, Upnd. We are moving. We are soldiering on with plan B. But you'll be shocked that sometimes in politics you throw a red herring so that people begin to chase this. It's not there. The actual plan is not plan B. It's a strategic move. We threw it out there to confuse the enemy. They went dancing around. You heard my young brother Cornelius Muitwa, spokesperson for Upnd. Hey, this plan B is an illegal issue. It wasn't illegal. It's not illegal. Don't panic. It is not plan B. The real plan is coming. Some of us are privy to it, and we know what it means.
We have a couple of lawyers in Tonse, really,
Yes.
and truly, if there will be confusion beyond repair in Tonse, people will be very disappointed in in the legal minds that are in Tonse, no?
Yeah, it's a proposition you can throw out there. But let me say this.
Yeah.
It was one thing to have a degree in law. It is another thing to attach that to politics. Politics is a different game. It's a different ball game altogether. And you need a certain level of understanding, and you need to be a bit streetwise as well. Not just having a paper degree, no. Like some Max Sumowe boy who wants to say that he's a lawyer on paper, but he has never argued a court case. But he's one of the advisors and spokesperson of the Upnd. He opens his mouth left, right, and center, trying to articulate the law when he doesn't even know what it means. So those issues for me count. There is a difference between paper law and trial law. That's where the experience comes in.
Now, you keep saying Upnd will go because you know how to win elections.
Yes.
Now you're telling us there's a strategy being put in place, being prepared. That strategy, I know, is focused on 2026. Will it change if the amendment of the Constitution succeed? Would that mean you will have to go to a drawing board? Because it comes with a lot of issues that require to re-strategize your moves.
I'll correct you again, Vazaxna Imwe. We already have a strategy. We already have a winning formula.
Whether the amendment of the Constitution succeeds or not,
it doesn't matter. It's not succeeding. Don't put that
why do you think it's
there.
not succeeding?
Because we won't allow it. The Zambians won't allow it.
But it's a numbers in parliament that will tell. No?
Well,
and the numbers favors the ruling party in as far as passing the.
That's what they claim. The courts think otherwise. Yeah? You see, the Constitutional Court was very clear when it told this government that we have precedent as to how we review, amend, and change the Constitution of this country. And usually it begins by having a legal framework established with a commission pushed out there, or a legal entity, institution, given its own terms of reference. Then it goes to gather views. What we have now under Bill 7, for example, is the executive of this government coming up with what it feels the Zambian people must look at, what it feels must be amended. It doesn't work like that. What if the Zambians don't want those things? They want other things amended, reviewed in the Constitution. Why are you forcing down these things? We already know that this is because this is what this government wants. It suits them. But the Constitutional Court said, if you don't follow precedent, if you don't follow what we have established as Zambia on how we amend, review, and amend the Constitution, you're wrong. So the last time this matter went into court, I think it was a Munia Zulu case, the Constitutional Court said 11 articles of our Constitution were breached by this government. 11. And they named them. Nothing has changed. What we have now is a panicky president, a desperate president, who brings back the same Bill 7, goes and says, I'm using Article 92 of the Zambian Constitution. I'm appointing this clique of people, and I'm sending them out to the provincial capitals of this country in the 10 provinces to go and collect views. That's not the way it's done. First of all, your terms of reference came from you. This is what you want. It's not what the people want. So you're asking us to discuss what you've given us. It is wrong. The procedure is wrong. Article 92 as well. It is an issue that we may have to litigate because it didn't come from the Inquiries Act. What are we inquiring on? We inquire from the people. The Zambian constitution is a document. It may not be perfect, but it is a document that is the Grundnorm of this country. It therefore speaks to the people, about the people, for the people. It is the people who say, this is what we want. This is what we want amended, reviewed, or changed. Not what this government wants. The precedence that we're about to set now is any government that comes into power that feels certain clauses do not suit what they are doing can go set up a clique of a team and say, this is, I've got power under Article 92, I'm appointing these people. They should go around 10 provinces, sit here for 3 days, 3 days there, 3 days there, 3 days there, and this, and say, oh yeah, this is what the Zambians want. Who told you? Is that wide enough consultation? Is that consultation representative enough of the views of the Zambian people? Have you given the Zambian people enough time to engage, think about what they want changed in their constitution? Of course not. So why are you feeding us what you want? If the government wanted any amendments, they should have said, we as government feel this. But the people must also be free to do what they want. But you don't rush it again. You've given this committee 30 days to conclude. Is that enough time for wide-range consultation? No. I was giving an example the other day that if you are in Solwezi, okay, and you want the people in Chavuma and Zambezi to come and give their views, people in Kabompo, Mufumbwe, going that line, the western side of Northwestern Province. The last point, Zambezi, is almost 500 plus kilometers from Solwezi. I'm driving from here to Livingstone, one province. You want the woman who sits in Zambezi, who has never heard of this constitutional amendment under Bill 7, to believe that what is being done is for her interest. Equally, going up north, Mwinilunga Jumbe, you want the person at the Jumbe border, next to Congo, to believe that what is being suggested by this government, because he didn't submit his views, he should be taken to have agreed. No, that's not the way it's done. This is a constitution. And the constitution cannot be amended in the manner that the UPND government wants it done. Second, the speed. What's the rush? Thirdly, Parliament is about to be dissolved in May. We've got 5-6 months to go. Why are we rushing? What is it that this government wants to do? There are hidden things in those amendments which the Zambians may not see. And we are saying no. So when the report comes out, we are ready to litigate. Because so far we know that a lot of people, institutions, you can call them interested parties, have said they are not submitting to this committee because they have seen through it. It's a facade. It's fake. It's not helping the Zambians. And that is where the Zambians are coming from. Even here in Lusaka, you will see how many people are going to go and submit. They don't have time. Secondly, the timing of when you want people to leave, it's about to start raining. People are out in the fields preparing their fields for farming. You want them to leave their livelihood to go and start submitting on something which is important to you, not important to them. Bwana. No, it can't work. Razaks, we don't do things. These are tricks. Very serious tricks. And we must look at this government in the eye and say, Twakana. Twagagawasa. This we can't do. We shall not be part of this. And that is what a reasonable Zambian is expected to do, is to refuse this process, deny it, but if it is pushed, we go to court. Let the Constitutional Court tell us whether what the Zambian government has done is consultative enough, wide-ranging consultation, which they were ordered to do. In our humble view, it is not.
This is the Tuesday edition of the Burning Issue. Our guest today is Mr. Kelvin Fube Bwalya, who is president of Zambia Must Prosper Party and the party that is in the Tonse Alliance. And of course, we are live on our partner radio stations. We are live in Katete on Katete FM. Don't forget, we are live in Northern Province on Isunga FM. Live in Central Province on Spice FM and ZFM, which is in Kabwe and Kapiri respectively. Also live on Tuta FM in Mansa, Platinum Radio in Ndola. And of course, you who are watching us on our Facebook page, and that is 5FM Radio Zambia. Please feel free to call in now. My phone lines are open. Feel free to call in and interact with our guest. And let's have a sober conversation. And of course, let's discuss more on whatever it is that we've talked about this morning. Let me take a phone call. I'll ask that you have your headsets on, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to the Burning Issue.
Yes, good morning.
Morning to you. Thank you for calling. Your name, sir, and where are you calling us from?
Yes, this is the Honorable Different MP, Ed Nkunga from Kao, the fearless politician in Central Province.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir.
Wafuwe mulishani.
Ndio mutende mkwai mulishani. Aka introduction akwatu wanani?
Oh, Different MP, the fearless politician in Central Province.
Different MP.
Yes. I think what I can encourage you, Wafuwe, natimi mpasana payama that if they are going to choose a leader or to surrender Nananko Mutonse, it means I'm going to stand alone. The truth of the matter, you should have the heart of this country, not selfish motives. Because when you see how people they are suffering under the caretaker Sunganomba, I'm telling you the two things are bad.
Correct.
So we should have the heart of the Zambians, not you alone. So it can't punch you on say, me I would rather to meet you and other leaders so that we can encourage you. It's us who are on the ground who are seeing what we are passing through.
Totally.
If you tumpi or two no talk what you can manage your family, but us who sleep without eating are the people who want change in this country. We are tired of our Upnd. So far there's no roadmap. So the truth of the matter, whoever is going to stand Mutonse, support that person. Even support that person. Because me talking here, I'm a PF supporter. And I'm not going to lie to you that I hate you, but we are going to support, even if it's you, we are going to support you. What we want is to remove a caretaker in government because we are tired. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that different MP from Kabwe. We appreciate your comment, and of course, let's see if we can take this one. Good morning. Tauka mwaka Bruno, Randani.
This is Bom Sanjay calling you from Hakainde, Central Zambia.
Yes, Bom Sanjay.
Mwaka Bwalya KBS.
Tauka Bwalya wa Munsanjoko.
Tauka mfumo yanga. So yambirira Bafube tukuyamikireni.
Zikomo.
You for being a Zambian. And who is vying to be a president one of these fine days. Ndio wamenejifunikira kubwera ku radio na kubwerera ku nyumba not kufera ku radio. Having another employee outside waiting guarding you. Dikuyenda na kubwerera kwino na kupitira kufika and pay kwenda ku nyumba. This is the freedom we wanted. So for me, I think if you can stand alone, I can say kudos and well. Kama kuniuza kuti, you want to be part of the Tonse, which is hiding in the name of Tonse, but they are the same people who were gassing us today, claiming to be good and smart. And I will not support you, Honorable. Let me not defeat you, my president. because we know where we are coming from. Our Javantu, when the Bakayola, they were rooters. And at last they confirmed themselves to say, Patibendara Malanandere Samogwa Pat. My project which were at 80% and below were halted. Can you imagine a building which is at 80? Huh? If you have the number of they stopped employing, they imposed the wage freeze and the employment freeze for 4 years. Huh? Today they are claiming they want to come and tell us to say, no, we are angels. No, sir. No, sir.
Bomo Sanje.
Yes, boss.
If I got you right, you said if Zambia Must Prosper left Tonse and stood on its own, you would support it. But I know that you are a UPND sympathizer. Does that mean that if Zambia Must Prosper stood on its own, you would actually give your vote to Zambia Must Prosper? Is that the support you're talking about?
Indeed, Honorable. What Mr. Fube is Zambia. He wants to vie as a president. And if he offers the better policies, comparing to UPND government, which is ruling today, why not voting for him?
Interesting.
We can still vote for him because he's a Zambian. What we want is good services. They don't come here so that they have to sushi and tell them matumba more money in your pocket. People are going to forest side. The guy is swear on my scheme whether so I encourage you, don't be discouraged and be told by Vagaruta, can you unite? Uniting for what? With the failure.
Thank you. Thank you, Bwalya Musanje. Thank you very much for that. And of course, 0955221515 is the number that you are calling us on. But also remember, you can send us your comments on our Facebook page. I've got one here. So it's coming from Kaoma G. M. Lu, who says, President KBF, I have a great deal of respect for the level of wisdom you exhibit. It's way above the level exhibited among many politicians in Zambia. All right, and also some more messages. This one is from Rayton Siawona, who says, these are some people who have run out of ideas, and the reason is simple. Free education, CBF increment, employment, agriculture, mines, which you thought will remain closed until 2026. Last year, the song for opposition was based on millennial because of the drought which hit Zambia. But today we have shifted to load shedding without telling us the alternative sources, which obviously PF left so that we can use to solve a problem. So basically this message is saying, look, you are not giving options or solutions, alternative, for example, to what Zambia Must Prosper will come and do to alleviate the energy deficit that this country has. But having said that, we've gotten those two callers and a message from our Facebook page. You might as well react.
The different MP from Kawe, I have heard you, my brother. I am guided and I am counseled. I don't normally break ranks with people easily. I'm very principled. But what I want is for us to win. Please hear me. I want us to win. If the candidate chosen, according to me, is a Mo or a traitor, you want me to still support him? There are a lot of things which are happening which you may not be aware of, which I'm aware of. So on principle, I cannot support such a person. So you're telling me that if tomorrow the government of the day decided to give you Robert Chawinga as a president, you want me to support Robert Chawinga? But different MP. Please answer that question in your sleep. There are people who are Robert Chawingas, even where we are. So you must be very careful as a politician who you associate with. And the Zambian people don't want to be betrayed. So we must be serious when we think of the presidency. It's not an easy job, but it also has to do with principles. Someone must have a clear manifesto. He must know where he stands. And the Zambians must believe that he can win. Otherwise, we'll just support him and we'll lose. Then what? Think about that, my brother. Womun Sanje, I am grateful for your comments. I will not add or subtract to what you have said. You are a very objective follower. Ndalumba, I have heard and I know that there are many thinking like you who have been disillusioned from Southern Province, Central Province, Western. Those who supported Upnd are disillusioned today because they can see the suffering that the Upnd has brought. Now, let me come to Siawona. My brother Siawona, you are saying we are not providing solutions. You see, when you come to a radio interview, first of all, as a preliminary comment, the questions that come from the moderator are the questions you answer. I just don't start speaking. The moderator has not asked me about the manifesto of Zambia Must Prosper, so how can I just start talking? So you forgive me if I sounded like I didn't have answers. But to satisfy you, let me give you a synopsis. As Zambia Must Prosper, we have 5 main areas of attack in terms of trying to correct what is going on today. Number 1 is the energy sector. We realize this is problematic, but energy divided in petroleum products and electricity, these are the movers and shakers of industry, of business, of commerce, trade. Once you go wrong with electricity, you go wrong with petroleum products, there will be nothing to talk about. And the Upnd president has conceded just last week, or is it this week, that they have failed in energy. That means they have failed everywhere, and I shall explain. Our second wave of attack as Zambia Must Prosper will be the agriculture sector, because we understand that with agriculture, this is a low-hanging fruit from which we can employ 10 to 12 million Zambians. Jobs under the agriculture sector are guaranteed. We have good weather, we have good rainfall, we have good soils, arable, rich soils. And we have a very youthful population which is willing and able to work. They are not lazy, these Zambians. They just want policy direction. They want the political will of us as politicians to give them what we are terming as production cities within the agriculture sector. We have to build accommodation, housing for them where they should stay as they are working on the farms. We have to introduce state farms. We have to have what we term as extension workers to go and teach these Zambians on farming. But in addition to that, we're going to have extension workers teaching and having extension farms attached to the commercial farms or the state farms. Third, mining. We are historically a mining country, but the way mining is being run is not the way Kabuswe is running it today. Siawona, I am refusing. We need to change the mining laws in this country. We need to change the mining policies so that the mines begin to benefit the Zambians. Right now, where you are, I don't know how much benefit you're getting out of the mines yourself, but I can tell you, with the amount of minerals we have today, we are not getting enough from these mines. Fourth, infrastructure. No country in the world can develop meaningfully and attract investment when the infrastructure is bad, when the infrastructure is outdated. What do we mean by infrastructure? We need good road networks. We need new rail lines. We need new towers for communication. We need hospitals. Our population is growing. We need new schools. All this is infrastructure, and it's related to how we deliver goods and services, the speed at which we deliver medicines to our people, medicines to hospitals, how quickly, how we take advantage of our geographical location. We've got 8 neighbors. Why don't we have rail lines passing through Zambia so that Zambia becomes a hub? Speed trains which can move at 400 kilometers an hour, going into Congo, going into Mozambique, going into Tanzania, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Botswana, and all these places. You can go and come back in one day using a speed train. That is possible depending on how you develop. All this infrastructure is good. But even the investors coming here, when they come, but your network is dropping all the time and they cannot be in touch with their people, they cannot do proper banking, they will not stay. They will not bring enough money. The 5th area is what we term as industrialization via SMEs. SMEs, the population of this country is youthful. 82.2% of the population is youth in Zambia. It includes women and men. So these people, how are they going to be employed? Because the Zambian government cannot employ every graduate, cannot employ every nurse, cannot employ every teacher. So we need the private sector. We need the small schools. We need the private universities. We need those boys on the streets who are doing welding, who are doing whatever they do. And we also need the musicians on the other side. Okay? We need the footballers, the talented youths. We need the infrastructure, because at the end of the day, how are these people going to develop their musical talents, their drama, artistic talents to bring us movies on the screens if they don't have the infrastructure? So all this is related. It's not like we haven't thought of it. But if you bring me here and say to Vazax, bring the KBF on, and we want him to discuss his manifesto as Zambia must prosper, give me 2-3 hours. You might wonder, I might need 24 hours. Then you'll be saying, oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Let me cut you short and take in some more calls. Good morning. Hello, good morning. We seem to, we do have a caller on the line. Good morning. Well, let me see if we can take another one. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
You see what I was talking about.
Well, let's let's see if we can take this one. Good morning. Yeah, we seem to have a slight challenge with our line. It is ringing, but definitely not giving us a caller there. Good morning. Yeah, we seem to have a challenge. We'll definitely be looking at that particular one. Let me see if I can take this one here. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for calling.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Please share your name and where you're calling us from.
Yes, my name is Andrew. I'm calling from Good morning, Mr.
Good morning. This is whom?
Andrew.
No, this is Andrew.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, sir.
Yes, yeah. So I've been following, and I think Mr. President is speaking very well. I like your industrialization agenda. I think the blueprint. I think like you have responded to the previous caller. I think the fact that you're responding according to what you're being asked. But personally, I've looked at the blueprint, the industrialization agenda. It's very powerful. I like the fact that you have prioritized agriculture in your manifesto, and also I heard. I followed you very well that in the Tonse and looking at other political players, I think you're harmonizing the manifestos. I think that is very critical. Getting obviously you're going to pick from the blueprint, Zambia must prosper. You pick from PF, you pick from Shantemba and all those guys. You sit together, you look at what is best for the country. I think that's the way to go. And I hope that in the consolidated manifesto, you're going to make sure that you prioritize agriculture, and then also want to see industrialization. I think Zambia has to industrialize. I think we've got enough. We've got a little bit of infrastructure here and there, but I think we need to create real employment opportunities, Mr. President, not these jobs that the current regime they keep talking about. You employ 30,000 people, you start making noise. As a father, so I think if you look at NNPPF, you never heard them talk about civil service jobs that they created, because that is nothing. Every government is looking to create those jobs. And I was looking at the statistics. For example, they like saying for the first time in the history of employed over 30,000. Now they're claiming to 70,000 or so. But if you look at what PF was able to employ in terms of the civil service, more seniors, it is 430,000 jobs, and on average you're talking 40,000 per year. So if the president is therefore counting on you, you are the king. I know you are the one you are a game changer, you are the strategist, and I'm very comfortable. Where are you going to put your mind? I think we're waiting for the direction. What you're going to guide is what we're going to follow. And the interest of Zambian people, I think we're ready. We are ready. We're just waiting for a signal. And me personally, I know in KBF, you know what you're capable of doing. That you are not a joker. You are a serious man. You are a serious strategist. You're a kingmaker, and you're going to pull it. You're going to pull a good one, and definitely Zambians are going to win. So all the best, and please rise on the ball and look over your shoulders, because definitely there could be more here and there. But I know you are able to teach who is who and German. I thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me give you another one. Good morning. Twabomba kati twabomba shannaye. Awo tulife bwino naye fati bani mkwai. Bana taonga kukabwe. Kulisha mkwabwe nairoka.
Awo kulite bwino kulite kwe mwana funa ni katna kutarara
Mkwai.
Mulishana naye.
Zaki.
Natko Bwalya kuno.
Bwalya Fube.
Mkwai.
Bwalya Fube ukulanda mwalanda bwino kali kyonse. Ngaba namu tena kwe chintu kyinda.
Mkwai.
Chimo. Iko tulipa ground. Kano. Mwamona? Eke tureko kurisha chintu kyinga chimo. Senga chakola kimwabonze shimya kulanda tinenga na mono bakali beshi shiri bwino nankwe. Temina neta nishi mwalare nga shetani akwata amaka. Eko ndeni bamwiteka ndibiria mwalare nga shetani akwata amaka. Kuno Muzambia uri ma problem waengi wamona. Muri tindi. Songa chakola tiwe weka walubule chalo. Ukitira mulino Bwalya Fube. Walubula ichalo. Naleta kani tere tindi palasi. Wamona. Nomba imwenga mwaibika paria mwone kwati limondo muli popula malata ngodi lesa ate mwina babulanda pasipuna ala tanka barika na balanda
Mkwai.
Ifo na tukata problem mwemele mtu mrefu amule landa popino kwa tie nanke nene na tiashuka ngamrefu amka soko mrefu haya na ifo ene kwa dipona background na iko soko mrefu haya kanti ifo tuli awaya nisitokeli yonke wakabita yo inewa kuyananga so ikimu si nachikula
Vanataonga vanataonga njipusheko ngaba mipira Robert Chawinga mukamuvotera
imwe bakachabinga tewetu
efyo ndemweba so pakulanda mwilala onzo bakabikapo mule mfwa nde muchitako ayona na ine nde muchita correct ngamwatila onzo bakabikapo
Inota narangire mwangu wakweba timo mlepo mwito sheko panono imo mlepo imo chipa njendikwita kirire azo chichiverere tonse mwamona tonse tuli mulimwe tando yangu ndibonse potuleta chetulepo atonse mwamona
yo kanji nishtwamfwana yo twamfwana
tinenga na mono bampe kali bwino nishimwe no mwana pera shetani amaka
yo kanji twamfwana
mwamona kumipesha tio mwalanda bwino baba Bwalya bamanda kwa uko mwashenteka so tulero makulimo kuba tilesa nitwe nichifuba ima mukati mineta onzo bakabika iko kutasungirire kipanichi lesa kunta shaka tupera umtuntu bantu na kuchunga kwa na Zambia nakuchua kuyo mubutete bwa UPND mwamwana kabwati cha bukala tenyosha abantu ishingi sikasumi na palimu
chishinga mayo yona totela twamfona at least yawe twamfona
kuri ngo tulipashi kama kata yenu kwa papata lekeni ke shetana conference hapo tulipwe ito ground
Twatasha banataonga
lakini tulapashi na kuru
ni mishi baba nataonga mkwaitwa tote kuku mkwai awe chachini mayo
Twatasha banataonga mkwai
mkwai
Twatasha mkwai
kuku mkwai.
Right. I'm getting a couple of messages that seem to be supporting your candidature as Zambia Must Prosper on its own rather than under Tonse. But these, most of them are UPND sympathizers. So, what do you read of that? Are they genuinely giving you support to go as an individual, or indeed Tonse is a threat unless you go as a single party? Maybe they might find you weaker.
Let me read
the message so that you get it.
All right.
Bwalya from Senga Hill, Northern Province. I know Leonard is listening to us through Isunga FM. Mr. Fube, I encourage you to stand alone because that previous party you are in group with is cruel, such that current government is very okay. Munda and his friends are not good for you. So stand on your own here. I shall support you as a councillor in ZP. Thank you. Now, I'm not sure councillor in ZP could be a word. I think
I'm sure he wanted to say ZMP.
Maybe. But there you are. Yeah. You feel?
No, I don't know him. No, I don't know him. Mayewa wanataonga. Na bonsewa mumfika kwa tuwasa kama na pafyo na achilanda. Na mwishu wo utungulu shibwari kwa ta inshila oyo tupoke lamo information. Demu chenchenta, demu chenje shafye. Mutonse, okay, tuliama parties ya ingi sana. So to be very careful. Na imobe newa supporta wesu, amashu imule wonfya pano, mwilale ka abantu bonse bale sumina tiyo, onse fyo wake imanika. Ifyo, fika wesha, ichota mulifuaya. Mungu mfuikishe. Sometimes kututwala ati tufunyepo uyu tubike poyu elo mwayasanga kweba ati mwafuma mu muliro mwabika muri pani nombe ikwete na cooking oil elo ile pia. So mufwe mwa very careful. As leaders, we are watching ourselves and we are watching each other. And some of our brothers, I don't want to mention names here, we may need to investigate. Wema nine pesa. Although bali mutonse, ninebo ndelanda, nenda fokufumia chumi. Because what we are receiving today is information which you may not have. So imumukesa bati, nombo imwatupela kusheta mweni okwe bati, nimwebe nimukesa mboku tuipusha. So, omuntu o tulefo kusala. Tufuile tuwasala omuntu tuishibia tukabomba na nkwe, tukabomba muchishinka, kaila kesa mkwafu wabena Zambia. Lelo te kuisa shitisha wabena Zambia. Icho iyo. Inenga na sanga ati omuntu akesa mushitisha, takamuombele fituntulu nkema, apasweka no kumieba tinena kana. Nama reasons inkamupela. imwenga mulefu abantu muleba tuli wonzeba oyo bakamupeera mukavote lero nga taifa piruka kuntanshi mugeza shara muri mwamone ninga ira na chira ndapo chira wa mali mokufuma echumi mwalolesha nyo muno chibe mbachitira pamenzo ya muno bitapema nkala mwayikulya kumwebela pofye efe naishi baine kukwebela pofye ngana mune chirubwene ndekwebela pofye naliyebelepo balungu na tamufide okuimani na yama bachita insist mwamva bantamfya na mpate. But I was proved right. Na leo po munandaka inde nati nchito benshire ifire because nchire monoko tuleya. Yo limbi lero mwesa mkunje bati ale muchusha. Nga chintu tachiweme, you must stand and tell the truth. Wanataonga mufe mwachiralanda, mwachira mfuwe kwa timuli waka pepa nga ine. Tulelande chinka. Mchinka chako alesa. Ichintunga tachiweme, we must call it out. And say chichena nakana. So, tientu wombere chapamo, tonse, is okay. But we must examine ourselves. Twai chemba. No kweba te, pali ifwe, uli ngireni uyu. Nangu pali ifwe uli ali muchishinka. Nshebere nati, nkafumapo nga basalo omuntu ondemo nakwati mutunturu. Njo. But, ngana mona kwati aletushitisha nangu takalande muchishinka takabombe muchishinka I won't agree ine mfu okulande chishinka because ifo obufi tomorrow mkeza pirubuka nokutampati nomba nishi watu weberi ati ine ndemu webera pofye. So yes tulimutonse tentu wombe le chapamo, it's okay, but we must be truthful to each other so that maelo tatushile that nomba nishi watu weberi uwa kwebere mfu yakwanoko mutanshi ndewe keshapo uwa kwebere mfu yakwanoko mutanshi naleka.
Can I take some more calls? Good morning. Good morning. Please turn off your radio and speak to us.
Yes, I've turned off the radio. Thank you.
Please, okay.
Mr. Banda here.
Mr. Banda, please go ahead.
I'm agreeing with Mr. Banda the way he's talking. He's talking a sensible thing. You can't agree with anybody who be in terms to be this one. You got to be betraying someone. But I agree what he's saying. The fact is that that's what something when they don't say. After the paper come out from the whatever they have to do, the process to sit down and go and select someone who will be their president. From this president, it will be one again to be a president, and another senator will become a running mate. And all the senators will be president in order to do so that we can come up with a very strong thing for that please. What we want is a strong, a good governance thing that will be advisable to each other. That's my contribution.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Banda. I've got Francis Kabachike on Facebook who says, Mr. Zach, please ask Bakabiev how is he and the Tonse leadership going to help us, the younger drivers? Otherwise, the younger drivers, we are suffering. All right. I've got Abidan Lukonde who says the truth is that we are tired of the UPND. We want new leaders like KBF is the only one, please. All right. And now let me ask one question. Obviously the people that are following Tonse or Tonse sympathizers, what mostly they don't understand the process of choosing a leader that will represent Tonse is concerned. Right now we know that every individual political party in Tonse is going through a convention to go and choose their leadership.
As they should be.
As they should be. Mm-hmm. So once every political party is done with their conventions, they will pick up their leadership, and more so, they will pick out presidents.
Yes.
And these presidents will obviously, now, this is where the issue is.
Mm-hmm.
Are you picking a Tonse leader going into an election from the presidents that will be elected from political parties? And who is going to vote for that particular or choose a particular president?
That's a very important question. And this is where perhaps Zambians will need a bit of education.
True.
You see, the regulations of our elections, you can vie for the presidency, but generally it is believed that you must belong to a political party. That doesn't mean you can't have an independent president. Follow me.
All right.
But there are rules. One, you must prove that you are widely represented across the nation, meaning in all the 10 provinces, you've got structures. In all the 10 provinces, you've got members. We don't want in a Shalaneka party just coming from one region, and then you're going to come into government, and then you start practicing tribalism, nepotism, and calling all your friends to come and be in government. No. Representative must be across the 10 provinces. That's one. Number two, at the time of nomination, you will need 100 members to support you from each province.
So 1,000 in total.
Yes, to support your candidature. So this is a very important process for those that run elections or understand elections. But speaking specifically about the conventions, some of the political parties may not afford the conventions. In other words, they are incapable of having conventions. Are they widely represented? No. Because you must call members from each province to come and gather in one place and elect a president for that party. Once that party president is chosen, he will be then given to Tonse to say, our party has chosen this one as a presidential candidate. From amongst those presidential candidates, yes, Tonse has to pick a leader. The problem we have, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, is we have problems with certain political parties. Not because they wanted problems, but the problems, some of them are self-inflicted. How are they going to conduct their conventions? You've got a chap like Robert Chavinga, who is saying that PF is already in an alliance with the UPND. Are you following me?
Yes.
He's on record. It's not me saying, I'm quoting him.
Right.
And he's saying to the...
Lubinda-led PF.
No, there are factions in PF. I'm giving an example.
Fine.
But he's saying to the Zambian people, and specifically to the UPND president, I want the president to sleep easy, because PF is not going for a convention. Where does that leave the faction where Lubinda and his people are? It's a problem, because they are saying we are the ones with the people, but you have no functioning party legally, because the registrar of societies will look at the documents. Who is in charge? That's why there are these court cases. So all these things have to be resolved very quickly.
Are you hoping to resolve
I am hoping PF resolves its problems very quickly. Hopefully. We need them. But they should resolve their matters. Because we don't want that confusion to be brought to Tonse. Do you understand where I'm going? Yes.
Yeah.
Because if PF brings that confusion, then Tonse will be in confusion. We don't want that. So if my brothers like UBZ, President Sondo, can go for a convention, let him go. If President Musoma with his party, ZP something can go, let him go. If my brother Mumba can go for a convention, let him go. All those in Tonse, if my brother Sean Tembo can go for a convention, let him go. If FDD can go for a convention, let him go. Because that is a requirement by statute. Not only a statute, but the Constitution. Article 60 says you must do this to show that you are widely represented across the board of this country. So we have this problem within Tonse. Now, when all these parties bring their presidential candidates to one basket,
right,
we must then say, who amongst us can fight this man? This is where the choosing becomes important.
And what's the process?
It
Of
is
the ballot?
within the rules which are being established now.
Right.
Okay? And those rules State Council Upnd is drafting will come up, because those are the rules we're going to use. Now, at that point, if we pick the wrong person and we feel this person is wrong and he can't win, do you still want us to just tell the Zambians this is the correct person? Because the Zambians themselves...
What do you mean we? Would you, I mean, let's focus on you as an individual, because you have categorically put it here that if the Tonse Alliance chooses a wrong person, you will definitely not be in support of that.
That candidate must fit a certain criteria.
Which you are drafting right now.
Yes. And
So
for me,
so
at
so
a
you have
personal
a,
level-
so you will be ticking out.
Yes, and for me at a personal level, I must be convinced that this person can beat Hakainde Hichilema. He can lead us to victory. That's important. It's part of the criteria. Because if you're going to say, you watch football, Zax, if you're going to say you're going to put your best 11 out there to face the opposition, are you going to pick your weakest team?
Of course not.
Of course not. So it's the same thing. The Zambians must expect us to pick the best team to win. And that's what we want to do for the Zambians. So I hope I've explained that.
Sure you have. Sure you have. And, well, we are now coming to a conclusion, to a close of our discussion this morning. But I would like to hear your concluding remarks.
Well, I can only pray that the Zambians stay with us. The Zambians must remain united. And the Zambians, especially those that belong to various political parties within Tonse, we must be united for a common purpose. That purpose is to defeat this misrule of the Upnd, which has brought economic hardships on the Zambians. So that is what we want to do here. And I pray that the Zambians who are watching and listening and keeping abreast with what is going on will give us a chance as a leadership to give them the kind of leadership that they want. So I pray that mwewe na Zambia twikatane tumanyaka pi tuombele chapamo na tuishiba na muchura na chumfa wa mayo bana taongo fo baidishanya na tumfa mayo the MP, the different MP na tumfa. We are very listening people, but we must also be looking over our shoulders, because we have seen some of our friends being bought, and we must be very careful. My politics aka that revoke wika po chipondom State House, or that revoke wika po mnabo wa UPND. Therefore, I am Zambian, coming from ourselves, who we believe can beat Hakainde Hichilema, and make sure that the Zambians get out of these doldrums that they are in.
Thank you very much. I have a last message for you. I actually thought it was President of Botswana on 5FM. I like the man. He is confident. This is Jando from Kabanana.
I thought you were going to say Boko.
President Kelvin Bwalya, thank you very much for your time, and we appreciate that you came.
Mukwaina totela sana na wonse bachira tumfwa mwisakamana yo tulebomba lesampale.
Thank you very much. Well, to you, our listener, we say thank you very much for having followed our conversation, and more sincerely, thank you to our partner radio stations that carried this program live on your various platforms. We really, really appreciate. And namely Isunga FM in Northern Province, Senga Hill to be precise, Spice FM in Kabwe, thank you very much, Tuta FM in Mansa, and Platinum Radio in Indola, Katete FM in Katete, and ZFM in Kapiri. We will definitely be coming back with our Thursday edition of the Burning Issue, God willing. But from all of us here is take care of yourselves and more so of each other. Bye-bye.